street. In protest, he set himself on fire, frustrated at a corrupt or powerful regime. Weeks later, he died, and it touched a national nerve. People came out and dared to denounce their government, defying the riot police sent to confront them. Abruptly, President Ben Ali lost control and fled, his regime suddenly over. The touch paper of revolution had been lit. When it spread to Cairo, people asked, could Egypt really be next? The ballooning population certainly shared Tunisia's frustration.
How did it spread?
Power concentrated in the hands of the unelected elite, rampant corruption, a brutal security apparatus.
I knew that was going to happen. Okay, so this video briefly covers the method of transmission, which is how it spread, which is, you said it already. Facebook. Okay, what about the catalyst? What's the catalyst this video talked about?
The man, he's 7.5.
What was his name?
Muhammad.
What country did this start in?
Tunisia.
What year?
2011.
Good, so you guys are fine, you don't need to review.
Yes.
What was the question?
Is this is the Arab Spring the reason why people in that area consider it illegal for other countries to name people Muhammad?
No. The Arab Spring, what we talked about the implications for that were oil, sympathy, and U.S. involvement. I don't think it's illegal to name them.
Because they said at one point that it was illegal to name children outside of that area Muhammad, and a lady went to jail because she allowed her class to name a teddy bear that.
But I appreciate your outside questions. So going back to these notes, which we've looked at a few times, we talked about why this is called the Arab Spring and not just a revolution. We talked about this whole idea of rebirth, and we know that Arab, it refers to ethnicity of people. That's just like saying like the white spring, the black spring. Arab refers to the people in this region, not necessarily their religion or their country, because remember, it spanned the entire region. We talked about purposes, and another way to look at purposes is outcomes. Because this is what the people wanted out of this. Who described these for me last time? Someone tell me about popular sovereignty. What is that relevance here?
They wouldn't be considered people and treated fairly.
But what does popular sovereignty mean? Christina?
It is power in the people.
Power within the people. So what does that mean up here? Why is that one of their desired outcomes?
Yeah. Over there in the Arab Spring, they weren't treated fairly, like Matthew said, and they wanted popular sovereignty because they didn't think that they had enough power within the government.
Very good. Now, Keontae, can you tell us about redress of grievances? Good. And Alexis, how do we know that they did not have redress of grievances? Good. Now let's look at succession of events. Wealth disparity. We understand wealth disparity?
What?
Is there anyone who's still confused about wealth disparity? No, my little pictures.
It's when the people with the power run out of money and the money comes from the oil money.
So that's the relationship, but a wealth disparity just basically is when there's a big gap in the amount of money that the people in power have, or one class has and another class has. Remember, we talked, and then so we connected that to the Middle East. We talked about in the Middle East, money comes from oil. Who controls oil in the Middle East? The government. So who controls all the money? The government. And so since that happens, this type of relationship exists with oil, where in reality, if the government controls the resource, they're supposed to distribute it to all citizens. But what were they doing? Leaving it. So we talked about why we care. So why did the United States care? Why is this something that's important to us?
Because we need their oil.
We need their oil. So why do we care if there's a revolution going on? Well, we've still been getting oil, and this has been going on for 2 years. So why do we care?
Because they control all the oil, and if they don't want to give us any more oil,
But we're still getting it.
You have the vast majority of oil that we don't have. Like, we just had a session, they got Saudi Arabia and all the other little Middle
Right.
Eastern places. If we, like, we use them, cause we need oil to run the, US.
Right, exactly. But look on the board, there's $2 signs there. What do those dollar signs represent?
Money. $2.
Right, but the $1.99 to $4, remember we talked about this last time. What
Oh,
price
gas
do those
prices.
represent? Gas prices. So what has happened in the past 2 years?
Gas
Why?
prices. Gas prices. That's so hard to get.
Right, so that's the main reason
Burn people.
why we
we're
care.
talking about the same thing.
Oil, Mr. Shaps class, he was telling me about that. So oil prices have gone up, or prices to produce oil have gone up, which means gas prices have gone up. And that's the #1 reason why we care. But the second reason we talked about this last semester, when we talked about kind of America's role in the world, we're kind of seen as like the police of the country, the big brothers of the, not of the country, of the world. So in general, Quintarius, when you saw that video, how did that make you feel for those people? What did you think? There's no right or wrong answer, just what did you think? When you saw that first video we watched last week about Muhammad and how he didn't have money to pay his bribes, what did that make you think? How would you feel if you knew Muhammad?
I'll answer.
We'll come back, think about it for a second. Alex, how would you feel?
If I knew Muhammad,
Yeah,
well, I would be sad then. I would like, I would join the cause to do this.
right, but even not knowing Muhammad, how did that, seeing those make you feel? Because none of us in here knew Muhammad.
It kind of makes me feel, I think, empathize, right?
Empathize.
Because I haven't been through such actions.
So you're talking about sympathy, not
Yeah.
empathy.
Empathy is when you have
I haven't been through that, but, I mean, he wants power and they didn't listen, so he actually killed himself. And
Very good. So that's the second reason we care, sympathy. Because as Americans, we live in a nation where ideally we're all supposed to be equal, right? So looking at the citizens of Tunisia, do we feel that they were treated equally? No. So just on a base level, that affects us, but also because of media censorship. That's another reason we care. What was the thing that changed the world? Facebook. Why was Facebook so important during this revolutionary period?
Because it gave us a chance to see what was going on.
But why couldn't we just turn on CNN?
It wasn't
I know, wait.
Quintavious?
Because the government had control of all the satellites.
What is that called?
I know.
Censorship.
Media censorship.
Now, D'Angelo, why do you think that the government would not want the rest of the world or the rest of the country to know about this protest?
I wouldn't want them to, like, interact and mess with them about it. And that way it's sensitive, so it would be like unbeknownst to the rest of the world.
Okay, it's not, we know why we didn't want it to spread to the rest of the world, but what about the rest of Tunisia? Remember, Sidi Bouzid was this tiny little market town in the very middle. Why did the government want that to stay contained in the country, Christian? Why didn't the government want the rest of Tunisia to find out about this protest?
It was causing a massive uproar.
Why?
Because they know what they are doing is kind of wrong and they should have did something about it.
Not exactly, do you think?
the people outnumber the government, so if all those countries rebel against the government can't contain all of that. If it gets too big, then we have a problem.
Very good.
Makes me feel stupid.
Very good. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and put, so when you're finished taking the quiz, I forgot to put these on Edmodo, so copy down your Unit 2 objectives. During the quiz, I will put up the Middle East map first, and then after you finish Objective 1, which is only 5 questions, I'm gonna give you like 3 minutes to do that. I'll put up the New England States map. New England States map, just do on a half sheet of paper, so you can go ahead and split one with your partner. It's only gonna be 10 questions. So other than your half sheet of paper, put everything else away. Do not forget to bring your articles and your homework back on Friday. Put this in your homework section so you don't forget it. Yeah. And remember, this question sheet is two-sided. I'll know you're ready to start when it's silent in this room. You guys are wasting your own time. We have a project we need to finish today. Okay. Latavius is ready. Rodolfo's ready. Alice is ready. Here is ready. No, don't take it. I get this back. You ready. Okay, you guys will have 20 minutes. Oh, it's already 2:30. Okay, I'm gonna give you 20 minutes to work on this quiz. You should not need that long now. You can write on here. You don't have to write in complete sentences. Just make sure you completely answer the question. Make sure you put your full heading on it. Go ahead and start working on objective number 1. In 3 minutes, I'm going to change this map to the New England states, or to the Mid-Atlantic states map. Half sheet of paper, you're going to write your states, so don't worry about that yet. Spelling does not count. In 2 more minutes, I'm going to take this map down